Lieutenant Melville Wells Waddington, the 21st of December 1895 to 14 August 1945, was a World War I Canadian flying ace, credited with 12 aerial victories. He was the first observer ace in No. 20 Squadron of the Royal Flying Corps to score a victory in Bristol Fighter. Background: Melville Wells Waddington, son of Herbert Waddington, the 5th of November 1867 to 24 May 1919, and his wife Edna Judd Waddington, was born on the 21st of December 1895 in Toronto, Canada. At the time of the 1901 census, his family was living in Toronto, where they continued to reside in 1911. His father was an accountant and financier. Melville Waddington was reported to be a descendant of John Waddington of Hume, Manchester. Military career: Melville Waddington served with the 12th Brigade Ammunition Column of the Canadian Field Artillery, receiving his commission in March 1916. He was found to be fit for the Canadian Overseas Expeditionary Force on the 21st of April 1916. He transferred to the Royal Flying Corps on the 16th of April 1917, and was posted to No. 20 Squadron on the 18th of June 1917. He is credited with 12 aerial victories as an observer with No. 20 Squadron. The first 7 were with F.E.-2D aircraft, the last 5 with Bristol F.2B planes. All of his victories were against Albatross aircraft. On the 29th of June 1917, from F.E.-2D, A6498, Lieutenant Waddington and his pilot Lieutenant Reginald Milburn Makepeace sent an Albatross D.V out of control over Houtham, Belgium. This was the observer's first aerial victory. He racked up his second on the 6th of July 1917. From F.E.-2D, A6498, piloted by 2nd Lieutenant Malcolm McCall, they destroyed an Albatross D.V in flames over Camines. Lieutenant Waddington, as observer in F.E.-2D, A6548, piloted by Harry George Ernest Luchford, sent 2 Albatross planes out of control on the 17th of July and the 21st of July 1917. The first over Polygon Wood between Ypres and Zonnebaker, West Flanders, Belgium, and the second over Meenen, West Flanders. There is some disagreement as to whether those last 2 victories were against D.3 or D.V aircraft. Waddington scored a double victory on the 27th of July 1917 from F.E.-2D, A1956. Again with pilot Luchford, they took down 2 Albatross D.V planes north of Meenen, destroying one in flames and sending the other out of control. His remaining victories were all with Lieutenant Makepeace as pilot. On the 16th of August 1917, with Makepeace piloting F.E.-2D, A3, Waddington racked up his 7th win. They sent an Albatross D.V out of control over Zonnebaker. By August 1917, No. 20 Squadron of the Royal Flying Corps was exchanging its F.E.-2D aircraft for Bristol F.2B planes. On the 3rd of September 1917, Lieutenant Waddington, with Lieutenant Makepeace as pilot, scored the first Bristol victory for No. 20 Squadron when, from A7214, they downed an Albatross D.V, which crashed between Meenen and Werwick. This was the 8th aerial victory for Waddington. Waddington and Makepeace scored 4 additional victories together, for a total of 12 for Waddington, 5 of those in Bristol's. On the 5th of September 1917, from Bristol F.2B, A7203, they sent an Albatross D.V out of control west of Lille, France. This was the 9th victory for Waddington. His 10th was scored on the 11th of September 1917, from Bristol, A7214, when Waddington and Makepeace destroyed an Albatross D.V. east of Menin. On the 17th of October 1917, they racked up a double victory, Waddington's 11th and 12th, when, from Bristol, A7255, they sent two Albatross D. versus out of control, one over Zonnebaker and the other northeast of Zonnebaker. Waddington returned to Canada in February 1918, arriving in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Aboard the Saxonia, he served as an instructor, and on 14 August 1918 married Marjorie Jean Hill MacLeod in Amherst, Nova Scotia. His occupation was listed as soldier. The London Gazette of 20 May 1919 announced that, on 31 March 1919, Lieutenant M. W. Waddington of the Royal Air Force, and Lieutenant of the Canadian Field Artillery, relinquished his commission on ceasing to be employed. This was also reported in the 29 May 1919 edition of Flight. After the war, according to aviation historian Norman Franks, Waddington was employed as a real estate and insurance salesman after the war. However, on 4 passenger lists from 1936, his occupation is recorded as accountant. On 14 August 1945, Waddington had a second heart attack and died. Gallery of Aircraft.